The night Jake Morrison pulled that woman and her boy from the rain, he thought he was saving strangers. He was wrong. Because the bruised mother shaking in his garage wasn't just running from a bad husband, she was running from an empire. And when her billionaire father-in-law showed up with lawyers and threats, Jake learned the hardest truth of all. Sometimes the people who need saving the most are the ones who can destroy you. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Before we dive into this story, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because you won't want to miss how this ends. And drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from. I want to see how far this story travels. Trust me, you're going to want to stay until the very end. She was dying right there in the rain, and Jake Morrison almost didn't stop. That's the God's honest truth. He was bone-tired, soaked clean through, and all he wanted was to go home. The Morrison garage sign flickered behind him. Half the letters were dead. Had been for 6 months. Just like half of him had been dead for 3 years. He had his keys out, had them in the lock. Then he heard the cough. Small, wet, desperate. Jake froze. His hand stopped mid-turn. Rain hammered the metal roof above him like God was mad about something. For 5 full seconds he stood there telling himself he didn't hear anything. Telling himself it was just the wind, or a cat, or someone else's problem. The cough came again. A kid. Hell! Jake turned around, squinted through the rain at the dumpster 20 feet away. That's when he saw them. 2 shapes pressed against the brick wall like they were trying to disappear into it. The bigger one wrapped around the smaller one. Hey! His voice came out harder than he meant. You can't sleep there! The bigger shape flinched, pulled the little one tighter. Something in Jake's chest twisted. He knew that kind of scared. Had seen it overseas. The kind of fear that doesn't ask questions, just hides. He put both hands up. Walked slow. I'm not gonna hurt anybody. Just want to make sure you're okay. Stay away from us. Female voice. Young. Educated. The kind of voice that should have been ordering wine at some fancy restaurant, not hiding behind a dumpster in Millbrook, Texas at 10:30 on a Thursday night. But Jake was close enough now to see. The woman was maybe 30. Hard to tell with the bruise covering half her face. Purple and yellow and angry. Her clothes were expensive though. Even drenched and mud-stained he could tell. The kind of blouse Sarah used to point at through store windows. The boy in her arms couldn't have been more than 6 or 7. His lips were blue. Whole body shaking so hard Jake could see it from 3 feet away. Ma'am, that child needs a hospital. No. Her voice cracked. No hospitals, no police, no one. Then he needs to get inside before he catches pneumonia. She looked up at him then. Really looked. Her eyes were gray. Storm gray. Searching his face for something. Some sign that he wasn't whatever she was running from. Jake didn't move. Just stood there in the rain letting her look. Whatever she saw, it was enough. Please. The word barely made it out. Just tonight. Just one night and we'll be gone. I swear. Jake didn't think. That was his first mistake. Or maybe his first smart move. Sometimes you can't tell the difference until it's too late. He bent down and scooped the boy up. Kid weighed nothing. Fever heat came off him in waves, even through the wet clothes. Come on. The woman tried to stand. Her legs gave out. Jake caught her elbow with his free hand. Can you walk? Yes. She couldn't. Not really. But she tried. That's what made up Jake's mind. People who kept trying even when they were broken, those were the ones worth helping. Sarah used to say that. Usually right before she dragged home another stray cat. He got them through the side door into the garage office. Hit the lights. Fluorescent bulbs buzzed and flickered. The woman blinked like she'd been living in the dark for a month. Maybe she had. Jake laid the boy on the vinyl couch. Kid's breathing was shallow, rattling in his chest. What's his name? Sam. She was on her knees beside the couch now, pushing wet hair off the boy's forehead. Her hands were shaking. His name is Sam. Okay, Sam. Jake grabbed the emergency blanket from the supply shelf. Military issue, olive green. He'd kept it from his army days, even though Sarah always said it was ugly. "I'm Jake. This is my garage. Nobody's gonna hurt you here." The woman's shoulders shook. Just once. Like something inside her finally broke loose. "I'm Grace." Jake didn't believe her. Not the name anyway. The way she said it, like she was trying it on for size, told him everything. Grace was her safe name. Her running name. "Okay, Grace. I need to call someone. Get this boy some help." "No." She grabbed his wrist. Her grip was stronger than it should have been. "Please. I have money. I can pay you whatever you want. Just please don't call anyone. No one can know we're here. That boy's burning up." "I know." Tears were streaming down her face now. "I know. But if anyone finds out, they'll take him. They'll take my son, and I'll never see him again." Jake looked at her hand on his wrist, at the other bruises running up her arm, at Sam shivering on the couch, at the desperation in her eyes that was more terrifying than anything he'd seen in 2 tours overseas. "I've got a daughter upstairs," he said quietly. "Emma. She's 9 years old. She's already lost her mother. If I bring you into my home and something happens to her, I won't survive it. You understand what I'm saying?" Grace nodded. "I swear on my life, on Sam's life, we're not criminals. We're not dangerous. We're just running." "From who?" She didn't answer. Jake stood there, keys still in his hand, rain still hammering the roof. He could feel Sarah's voice in his head clear as day. "Don't you dare walk away from someone who needs you, Jake Morrison. Don't you dare become that kind of man." He wasn't that kind of man. Not yet, anyway. "Upstairs," he said. "Now, before I come to my senses." The apartment above the garage was small. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, kitchen that leaked when it rained hard. Sarah had always said they'd fix it up someday. Make it nice. They never did. Now Jake couldn't change a single thing, because changing it meant admitting she was really gone. Emma was asleep on the couch. Math homework spread across the coffee table. She'd waited up for him again, even though he'd told her not to. 9 years old, and already she worried about him like she was the parent. Grace stopped in the doorway. "I can't. Your daughter." "Guest room's down the hall. Get Sam out of those wet clothes. First aid kit's under the bathroom sink." Jake was already moving, grabbing towels from the linen closet. 10 minutes. If that fever hasn't dropped, we're going to the ER whether you like it or not." Grace opened her mouth, closed it, nodded, carried Sam toward the guest room. Jake stood in the hallway, listening to her footsteps. Soft, careful, like she was afraid of leaving evidence. "Dad." He turned. Emma was in the living room doorway, rubbing her eyes, hair sticking up on one side. "Who's that?" "Neighbors. Car broke down in the rain. They're staying the night." Emma looked at him like she knew he was lying, but was too tired to call him on it. "Okay. Night." "Night, princess." She shuffled back to her room. Jake waited until he heard her door click shut. Then he knocked on the guest room door. "Come in." Grace had gotten Sam into dry clothes. One of Jake's old t-shirts hung on him like a dress. She'd piled every blanket from the closet on top of him, but he was still shaking. "He needs medicine. I don't have anything here strong enough." Jake knelt by the bed, put his hand on Sam's forehead, still burning. "There's a 24-hour pharmacy about 15 minutes out. They'll see us." "Who's they?" Grace just stared at Sam. Jake made a decision. Second one tonight. "Stay here. Lock the door behind me. I'll be back in half an hour." "Why are you doing this?" The question stopped him at the door. He thought about Sarah. About how she'd made him stop one night to help some kid change a tire on Route 9, even though they were already late for dinner. About how she'd told him that's what good people do. They stop. "Because someone would have helped me," Jake said. "If I'd needed it." He left before she could ask what he meant. The pharmacy was empty, except for a tired clerk scrolling through her phone. Didn't even look up when Jake bought children's fever reducer antibiotics, bandages, antiseptic. He paid cash. Didn't know why that felt important, but it did. On the drive back, his hands were shaking on the wheel. What the hell was he doing? Bringing strangers into his home, around his daughter. People who were running from something bad enough that they'd rather hide behind a dumpster than go to the police. Sarah's voice again. Jake Morrison, you stop that right now. That woman has a baby who's sick. You know what you'd want someone to do if it was Emma. Yeah, he knew. When he got back, Grace was in the kitchen. She'd changed into some of Sarah's old clothes. The jeans were too long, the sweater too big. But she looked human now, less like something the storm had spit out. How's Sam? Sleeping. Temperature's down a little. Jake set the pharmacy bag on the counter. Take whatever you need. I'll be on the couch if anything happens. Thank you. Grace's voice was barely there. I know you probably think we're crazy, or criminals, or both, but thank you. Jake nodded. Started to leave. My husband's family. The words came out fast, like she had to say them before she lost her nerve. That's who we're running from. Sam's father is not a good man, but his family is worse. They have money, lawyers, power. If they find us, they'll take Sam, and I'll never see my son again. Jake turned back around. You got proof, custody papers. Anything legal? Grace laughed. It was the saddest sound Jake had ever heard. I have bruises. I have a 6-year-old who flinches every time a door slams. I have absolutely nothing that would stand up in court against the Hamilton family. The name hit Jake like a fist. Hamilton. Hamilton Oil. Hamilton Industries. Hamilton, half of goddamn Texas. Jesus Christ. Jake ran his hand through his hair. Lady, do you have any idea what you just dragged me into? I'm sorry. Grace was already moving toward the hallway. I'm so sorry. We'll leave, right now. Just let me get Sam and we'll go. Jake caught her arm, gentle. I didn't say leave. But you just said, I said you dragged me into something, didn't say I was kicking you out. Jake let go, stepped back. Look, I don't know your story. Don't know if you're the victim or the villain or something in between. But that kid in there is sick. Until he's better, you stay. After that, we'll figure it out. Why would you do that? Because I've got a daughter sleeping down the hall, and I want her to grow up believing people still help each other, even when it's hard, even when it's dangerous. His voice went rough. My wife used to say that. She'd have dragged you inside without thinking twice. Used to. Cancer, 3 years ago. I'm sorry. Yeah, me too. Jake grabbed a pillow and blanket from the closet, threw them on the couch. Get some sleep. We'll talk in the morning. But sleep didn't come. Jake lay there staring at the ceiling, listening to the rain finally let up, wondering what the hell he'd gotten himself into, wondering if Sarah was up there somewhere shaking her head at him or proud of him or both. Somewhere in the apartment, Grace was probably doing the same thing. 2 strangers under one roof, both carrying ghosts. When dawn finally broke, Jake found Grace in the kitchen. She'd made coffee. Real coffee. Not the instant crap he usually drank. Fixed the loose hinge on the cabinet door he'd been meaning to get to for 6 months. Folded the blankets he'd left in a heap on the couch. You didn't have to do all that. Old habits. Grace handed him a mug. I used to manage a household staff of 12. Turns out those skills translate to small apartments. Household staff. Jake sipped the coffee. It was better than anything he'd made in 3 years. Right. Because you're a Hamilton. I married one. That's not the same thing. How's Sam? Better. Fever broke around 4. He's still sleeping, but he's breathing easier. Jake nodded. Set the mug down. Okay, here's how this is going to work. You and Sam stay until he's strong enough to travel. Could be a few days, maybe a week. During that time, you tell me the truth, all of it, and I decide if I believe you. And if you don't, then I drive you to the police station myself. Grace met his eyes. Fair enough. Also, Emma can't know. She's been through enough. Lost her mom. Watched me fall apart for 2 years. I'm not putting her in the middle of whatever this is unless I have to. I understand. Good. Jake grabbed his keys. I've got a truck coming in at 8. You need anything from the store, write it down. I'll grab it on my lunch break. Grace nodded, then quietly. Jake, what you said about your wife, about wanting Emma to grow up in a world where people help each other. Yeah. She already is, because she has you. Jake didn't know what to say to that. So he just left. The garage was slammed that morning. 3 oil changes, transmission job, and Mrs. Chen's Buick that made a noise like a dying whale. Jake worked on autopilot, hands busy, mind upstairs with the woman and boy who'd appeared in his life like a curse or a blessing. He couldn't tell which yet. Around 11, a silver sedan rolled up, tinted windows, out-of-state plates. 2 men in suits got out. Jake's stomach dropped. Help you, gentlemen? The taller one smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. We're looking for someone, a woman, about 30, traveling with a young boy. You seen anyone like that around here? Millbrook's a small town. See lots of folks passing through. This woman would stand out. Expensive clothes. Probably scared. Maybe hurt. Jake wiped his hands on a rag. Kept his face blank. Haven't seen anybody like that. Sorry. The shorter one was looking at the apartment windows above them. You live up there? That's right. Alone. Me and my daughter. Mind if we take a look around? Jake's heart was pounding, but he kept his voice steady. Actually, I do mind. You got a warrant? The tall one's smile got wider. We're not police. We're private security. Looking for a missing person. Someone her family is very worried about. Then maybe you should call the actual police. Have them do a welfare check. Jake crossed his arms. Now, if you're not here for auto work, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. I've got customers waiting. The 2 men looked at each other. Some silent conversation happened. Then the tall one pulled out a business card. Set it on the workbench. If you see her, there's a substantial reward. $50,000. No questions asked. They got back in the sedan and drove off. Jake waited until they were out of sight. Then he grabbed the card and headed upstairs. Grace was at the kitchen table with Sam. The boy was eating crackers. Color was back in his face. Emma was there too, showing him how to draw a horse. Emma, go work on your homework in your room. But Dad... Now please. Something in his voice made Emma grab her backpack and go without arguing. Jake put the card on the table. Grace's face went white. Montgomery Hamilton Security Services, it read, with a phone number and the words, Family Recovery Specialists. They were just here, Jake said quietly. 2 men, asking about you. I told them I haven't seen you, but they're not stupid. They'll be back. Grace was shaking. We have to go. You're not going anywhere. Sam's still sick. He needs rest. You don't understand. If they find us here, they'll say I kidnapped Sam. That I'm unstable. They have doctors who'll say anything. Judges who owe Montgomery favors. I'll lose him, and they'll make sure I never get him back. Then we don't let them find you. Jake, these aren't normal people. I know who they are. I saw the name on the card. Jake pulled out a chair, sat down. Now tell me the rest, all of it. Because if I'm gonna help you, I need to know what we're up against. Grace looked at Sam. The boy was focused on his drawing, humming some little song. My real name is Evelyn, she said quietly. Evelyn Grace Hamilton. I didn't just marry into the oil family. I'm the heiress. My grandfather left me his entire fortune when he died. $43 billion. Jake's brain short-circuited. 43 billion. I was planning to give it away. All of it. To charities, environmental groups. Everything my husband's family spent a century building I was going to use to tear down. Evelyn's voice was shaking now. That's why Montgomery sent his men. Not to get Sam. To stop me. He had me declared mentally incompetent. Said I was having a psychotic break. The bruises were from his security team escorting me to a private psychiatric facility. Jesus. I ran. Took Sam and my laptop and every piece of evidence I could carry and ran. But without access to my accounts, without lawyers, I can trust I'm just a crazy woman making accusations. And Montgomery owns half the judges in Texas, half the politicians, the entire legal system. Jake stared at her. At this woman who'd been hiding behind his dumpster 12 hours ago. This woman, who was sitting at his kitchen table in his dead wife's clothes casually talking about $43 billion. So when you said they'd take Sam, I meant they'd lock me up in some facility and drug me until I signed over power of attorney. Then they'd raise Sam to be just like them. Cruel, greedy, everything I'm trying to prevent. Evelyn wiped her eyes. I shouldn't have come here. Shouldn't have put you and Emma at risk. But that night in the rain I was so desperate. And you looked at me like I was human, like I mattered. I'm sorry. Jake didn't answer right away. He looked at Sam drawing his horse, at the way the kid's tongue stuck out a little when he concentrated, at how much he looked like Emma did when she was working on something. My wife? Jake said finally. Sarah. When she was dying, she made me promise something. She said, Jake, don't you dare let this world make you hard. Don't you dare stop being the man I fell in love with. I've been trying to keep that promise for 3 years, mostly failing. Jake. But today when those men showed up, when they were standing in my garage threatening you and Sam without even saying the words. Jake met her eyes. I kept that promise. And I'm going to keep it tomorrow too. And the day after that. You can't fight Montgomery Hamilton. Watch me. He'll destroy you. Your business. Your life. Maybe. But at least I'll be able to look Emma in the eye. At least I'll be able to tell her I did the right thing. Jake stood up. You're staying, both of you, until we figure out what to do next. Evelyn stared at him like he'd lost his mind. Maybe he had. Why? She whispered. Why would you risk everything for us? Jake thought about it. About Sarah. About the promises he'd made. About the man he used to be before grief tried to grind him down to nothing. Because 3 years ago I couldn't save the person I loved most in the world, he said quietly. Maybe this time I can actually help. Evelyn stood up, crossed the kitchen, and kissed him. Not passionate, not desperate, just grateful, just human. Her lips tasted like tears and coffee, and something that might have been hope. When she pulled back, Jake's heart was hammering. Sorry, she whispered. I shouldn't have done that. Don't apologize. They stood there, neither moving. Behind them, Sam said, Miss Emma, look, I finished the horse. The moment broke. Evelyn stepped back, wiped her eyes. 1 week, she said. Give us 1 week to figure out a plan, then we'll go, I promise. 2 weeks. Jake. However long it takes. His voice was steady. Sure. You're not running anymore, Evelyn. Not from me. Her fingers found his, held on. Okay. The days blurred together after that. Sam got stronger, started laughing again. Emma and him became inseparable, building blanket forts, drawing pictures, making up elaborate games involving pirates and treasure, and saving the world. Grace Evelyn. Whoever she was, started working in the garage office, answering phones, scheduling appointments. She reorganized his entire filing system in 2 days, fixed his books, found suppliers who charged less. Somehow charmed old Mr. Peterson into finally agreeing to fix his carburetor after 5 years of saying no. Jake watched her work and tried not to think about how easily she'd slipped into their lives. How natural it felt to come upstairs and find her cooking dinner. How Emma had started calling her Miss Grace, like she was something precious that might break. On the fifth night, Jake found Evelyn standing in Emma's doorway. She was watching the kids sleep. Emma had insisted Sam take the air mattress next to her bed. Said he had nightmares and needed a friend close. "She's amazing," Evelyn whispered. "Your daughter, Sarah, must have been incredible." She was. Jake's throat was tight. "She'd have liked you, I think." "Jake, I need to tell you something else." "Okay?" "The psychiatric facility Montgomery wanted to send me to. It's real. And it's legal. He has paperwork, court orders. Everything looks legitimate on paper. If he finds me, I won't be able to fight it. Not without lawyers. Not without money." "Then we get you lawyers." "With what? I can't access any of my accounts. Can't use credit cards. Can't do anything without them tracking me. I have $3,000 cash. That's it." Jake thought about his savings. About the garage that barely broke even most months. About Emma's college fund that was mostly empty dreams and good intentions. "We'll figure it out." "You keep saying that." "Because I mean it." Evelyn turned to face him. In the dim hallway light, she looked younger, less hunted. "Why aren't you angry I lied to you? Brought danger to your door. Put Emma at risk. Why aren't you throwing us out?" Jake didn't have a good answer. Or maybe he had too many. "My wife died in that bedroom." He pointed to the master bedroom door. "She died in our bed holding my hand, telling me she was sorry for leaving. Like it was her choice. Like cancer gave her a vote." His voice cracked. "I couldn't save her. Couldn't do anything but watch her slip away. You know what that does to a man. Watching the person you love most suffer and not being able to stop it." "Jake. So yeah, maybe I'm helping you because I need to prove I'm not useless. Maybe I'm doing it because Sarah would want me to. Maybe I'm doing it because Emma needs to see her dad be the hero for once instead of the guy who falls apart." He met her eyes. "Or maybe I'm doing it because when I look at you, I see someone fighting. Someone who won't quit. And I'd forgotten what that looked like." Evelyn was crying. "I'm not worth this. I'm not worth you losing everything." "That's not your call to make. Jake, it's mine, and I'm making it." He reached out, tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. "You're staying. We're figuring this out. Together." She kissed him again. Longer this time. Deeper. Like she was trying to tell him something she didn't have words for. When they broke apart, they were both breathing hard. "This is a bad idea," Evelyn whispered. "Probably. We barely know each other. I know enough. If Montgomery finds out, let him." Evelyn laughed. It was watery and broken, and the most beautiful sound Jake had heard in 3 years. "You're crazy." "Yeah, maybe." Jake smiled. "But at least I'm not alone." That night Jake couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the men in suits, about the business cards sitting on his kitchen counter, about Montgomery Hamilton and his $43 billion and his army of lawyers. What was he doing? He was a mechanic, a widower, a guy who could barely keep his garage running and his daughter fed. What made him think he could stand up to an oil empire? Sarah's voice. Always Sarah's voice. Because someone has to, Jake. Because if good people don't fight, then evil people win. And I didn't marry a man who lets evil people win. Jake got up, walked to the window, looked out at Main Street. That's when he saw it. The same silver sedan from earlier, parked across the street. Engine off, just sitting there, watching. Jake's blood ran cold. He grabbed his phone, texted the number on the business card. "Leave, now, or I call the real police." 3 dots appeared, then a message. "We're not here to cause trouble, just keeping an eye on things, making sure everyone stays safe. Have a good night, Mr. Morrison." The sedan's engine started. It pulled away slowly, deliberately, but Jake knew they'd be back. He walked to Evelyn's room, knocked softly. "Come in." She was awake, sitting on the bed in the dark. "They're watching the house," Jake said. I know. I saw them an hour ago. We need a plan. I have a plan. Sam and I leave in the morning. Before they can connect you to us. Before they can hurt you and Emma. That's not a plan. That's running. It's all I know how to do anymore. Jake sat down on the edge of the bed. Then let me teach you something different. What? How to fight back. Evelyn looked at him. You're serious? As a heart attack. Jake pulled out his phone, started typing. I've got a buddy, guy I served with, Tommy Reeves. He's a lawyer now, works in Dallas, specializes in family law. I'm gonna call him in the morning. Jake, I can't afford. He owes me, big time. I'll cash in that favor. Jake kept typing. Then we're gonna document everything. Every bruise, every threat, every illegal thing Montgomery's done. We're gonna build a case that even his bought judges can't ignore. That could take months. Then we've got work to do. They'll come after you. They'll destroy your business. They'll... Let them try. Jake's voice was steel. I survived 2 tours in Afghanistan. I survived watching my wife die. I can survive some rich bastard with a god complex. Evelyn stared at him. You really mean that? Every word. She grabbed his face with both hands, kissed him hard, like he was oxygen and she'd been drowning. When she pulled back, they were both shaking. Okay, she whispered. Okay, we fight. We fight. They sat there in the dark, neither speaking, both knowing they'd just crossed a line they couldn't uncross, both knowing tomorrow everything would change. In the other room, Sam coughed. Emma mumbled something in her sleep. 2 kids who had no idea their lives were about to turn into a war zone. Jake stood up. Get some sleep. Tomorrow we start planning. Jake. Evelyn's voice stopped him at the door. Thank you. For believing me. For helping us. For being the kind of man who stops in the rain. Yeah, well. Jake tried to smile. Sometimes stopping is the only thing that makes sense. He went back to the couch, lay there staring at the ceiling, thinking about Sarah, about promises, about the man he used to be versus the man he was becoming. His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. We know who you are, Mr. Morrison. We know what you're trying to do. This is your last warning. Send Mrs. Hamilton home or face the consequences. You have 24 hours. Jake deleted the text, turned off his phone, closed his eyes. Let them come. Outside, another car pulled up. Different from the sedan. Black SUV, tinted windows. It sat there for a long moment, engine running. Then a man got out, pulled out a phone, made a call. Yeah, it's me, I found them. He got back in the SUV and drove away. The clock on the wall read 2:47 a.m. By sunrise, everything would change. Jake woke up to the smell of bacon. For 3 seconds, he thought Sarah was in the kitchen. Then reality crashed back, and he remembered. Evelyn. Sam. The men watching his house. The text message threatening him with consequences. He sat up. His back was killing him from another night on the couch. The clock said 6:15. Evelyn was at the stove, still wearing Sarah's old sweater, hair pulled back, moving around his kitchen like she'd been doing it for years. You didn't have to cook. She jumped. I couldn't sleep. Figured I might as well make myself useful. The men came back last night, after you went to bed. Her hand froze on the spatula. How many? Different car. SUV. 1 man. He made a phone call, then left. That means Montgomery knows for sure. He's mobilizing. Evelyn's voice was flat. Dead. We have maybe 12 hours before they come with court orders, probably less. Then we better get moving. Jake grabbed his phone, started scrolling. My buddy Tommy, the lawyer, I'm calling him now. Jake, at 6 in the morning. He's Army. He's been up since 5. Jake hit dial. Put it on speaker. 3 rings. Then a gravelly voice. This better be important, Morrison. I need a favor. Of course you do. Nobody calls me at dawn unless they need something. What is it this time? DUI, custody, battle parking tickets. Bigger. A lot bigger. Tommy's voice sharpened. I'm listening. Jake looked at Evelyn. She nodded. I've got a woman here. Evelyn Hamilton. She's running from her father-in-law, Montgomery Hamilton. He's trying to have her declared incompetent so he can take her son and control her inheritance. Silence on the other end. Then, did you just say Montgomery Hamilton as in Hamilton Oil? Montgomery Hamilton. That's the one. Jesus Christ, Jake. What did you get yourself into? Can you help or not? More silence. Jake could hear Tommy breathing, thinking. Yeah, I can help. But you need to understand what you're up against. Montgomery Hamilton has more money than God. He has lawyers who make me look like a public defender. He has judges, politicians, half the state government in his pocket. I know all that. Do you? Because this isn't some deadbeat dad we're talking about. This is a man who can destroy your life with a phone call. Destroy your business. Make you disappear if he wants to. Evelyn stepped closer to the phone. He's already tried to make me disappear, Mr. Reeves. I have the bruises to prove it. Tommy went quiet. When he spoke again, his voice was different. Harder. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm getting in my car right now. I'll be in Millbrook by 9. Don't talk to anyone. Don't open the door for anyone. If Montgomery's people show up, you say nothing without me there. You understand? Got it. And Jake? You better be sure about this, because once we start, there's no going back. Montgomery will come at you with everything he has. Jake looked at Evelyn, at the fear in her eyes, at the hope trying to fight through it. I'm sure. All right then. See you in 3 hours. And Morrison? Don't do anything stupid before I get there. The line went dead. Evelyn was staring at him. He's really coming. He's coming. Why? Why would he risk everything for people he doesn't even know? Jake poured himself coffee. Because I saved his life in Kandahar, pulled him out of a burning Humvee while rounds were flying everywhere. He's been trying to pay me back for 10 years. Guess today's the day. Jake, don't thank me. Don't apologize. Just help me figure out what we need to show Tommy when he gets here. They spent the next 2 hours going through everything. Evelyn pulled up files on her laptop, bank records, emails, photos of bruises, medical reports from the night Montgomery's men grabbed her, audio recordings of phone calls where her husband threatened to have her committed. Jake listened and felt his anger building with every word, every piece of evidence. This wasn't just some family dispute. This was systematic abuse, gaslighting, attempted kidnapping dressed up in legal paperwork. How long has this been going on? 2 years, since my grandfather died and left me everything. At first, Ethan, my husband, he tried to convince me to invest in the company, expand the drilling operations. When I said no, when I said I wanted to use the money for environmental causes, he changed, got mean, started telling people I was unstable. That grief over my grandfather's death had made me irrational. And people believed him. People believe what they want to believe, especially when the person telling the story has money and power and a reputation to protect. Evelyn's hands were shaking. Montgomery was worse. He said I was an embarrassment to the family, that I was poisoning Sam with liberal propaganda, that he'd make sure I never saw my son again if I didn't sign over power of attorney. That's when you ran. That's when I ran. Took Sam in the middle of the night. Emptied my emergency cash. Got on a bus and kept moving. We've been running for 3 weeks. Different towns every few days. But they always find us. Always. Not this time. Jake's voice was granite. This time, we stand and fight. Evelyn looked at him like she wanted to believe but couldn't quite get there. You don't know Montgomery. He doesn't lose. Ever. There's a first time for everything. Footsteps on the stairs. Emma appeared, rubbing her eyes. Sam right behind her. "Dad, why are you guys up so early?" "Grown-up stuff, princess. Go get dressed. I'll make you pancakes." "Miss Grace already made bacon." "Then I'll make pancakes too. Go on." Emma and Sam disappeared back upstairs. Jake waited until he heard their door close. "We have to tell them something. Emma's not stupid. She knows something's wrong." "What do we tell a 9-year-old? Your new friend's family is trying to kidnap him and destroy his mother. That there are men watching our house right now." We tell her the truth. Age-appropriate version, but the truth. Jake was already moving toward the stairs. She deserves that much. 10 minutes later, they were all sitting around the kitchen table, pancakes and bacon, orange juice. Emma and Sam watching the adults with worried eyes. "Okay." Jake set down his fork. "I need to tell you guys something. Sam and Miss Grace are in some trouble. Some bad people are looking for them, but we're gonna help them. That means things might get a little weird around here for a few days." "What kind of weird?" Emma's voice was small. "We might have visitors. People asking questions. If anyone comes to the door, you don't answer it. You come get me, no matter what they say. Understand?" Emma nodded slowly. "Are the bad people gonna hurt Miss Grace?" "Not if I can help it." "What about Sam?" "Sam's staying right here with us, where he's safe." Sam looked up at his mother. "Mom, are they gonna find us again?" Evelyn's eyes filled with tears. "I don't know, baby. But Mr. Jake has a friend who's a lawyer. He's gonna help us. We're not running this time." "Promise." "I promise." Sam seemed satisfied with that. Went back to eating his pancakes, but Emma was still watching Jake with those two old eyes. "Dad, are we in danger?" Jake wanted to lie, wanted to tell her everything would be fine, but he'd promised Sarah he'd never lie to their daughter. "Maybe. A little. But I'm not going to let anything happen to you, or to Sam, or to Miss Grace. I promise you that." "Okay." Emma reached across the table, took Sam's hand. "We'll be brave together." Sam squeezed back. "Together." Jake felt something crack in his chest. These kids. These beautiful, scared, brave kids who'd found each other in the middle of a nightmare. At 8:55, a beat-up Ford pickup pulled up outside. Tommy Reeves climbed out. He was bigger than Jake remembered, more gray in his hair. But he had the same intense look he'd worn in Afghanistan. The look that said he was ready for war. Jake met him at the door. They didn't shake hands, just gripped each other's shoulders for a moment, understanding passing between them. "You look like hell, Morrison." "You look old, Reeves." "Yeah, well, 3 ex-wives will do that to a man." Tommy's eyes flicked to Evelyn standing in the hallway. "Mrs. Hamilton, Tommy Reeves. I'm here to help." "Thank you for coming." "Don't thank me yet. Let me see what we're dealing with first." They spread everything out on Jake's kitchen table, laptop, documents, photos. Tommy went through it all with methodical precision, not speaking, just reading, absorbing. His face got harder with every page. After 20 minutes he sat back. "This is bad, really bad, but it's also good." "How is any of this good?" Evelyn asked. "Because Montgomery made mistakes, big ones. Having his security team physically grab you without a court order, that's assault, battery, false imprisonment. Doesn't matter how much money he has. Those are crimes." Tommy was making notes now, scribbling fast. "And these medical reports. They contradict the psychiatric evaluation his doctor filed with the court. He's saying you're delusional, but the ER doctor who treated you documented defensive wounds consistent with being forcibly restrained. Can we use that? Damn right we can. But here's the problem. Montgomery filed for emergency custody in Harris County. That's his home turf. Judge Morrison, the one who signed off on the psych evaluation. He's been on Hamilton Oil's payroll for 20 years as a consultant. We're not getting a fair shake there." "So what do we do?" Tommy grinned. It wasn't a nice grin. "We go on offense. We file in federal court. Civil rights violation, unlawful detention, attempted kidnapping. We make this about Montgomery's abuse of power, not your fitness as a mother. And we do it loud. Press conference, media coverage, the whole 9 yards. Evelyn went pale. The media numb. No, that will put Sam in danger. That will make everything worse. That will protect you. Montgomery's power comes from operating in the shadows, from making backroom deals and buying silence. But if this goes public, if every news outlet in Texas is covering it, he can't make you disappear then. Too many witnesses. He'll destroy me. He'll drag out every mistake I've ever made, every bad decision. Probably. But he'll also have to answer for his own mistakes. And trust me, a man like Montgomery Hamilton, he's got a lot more skeletons than you do. Jake leaned forward. How long do we have before Montgomery moves? Based on the timeline, I'd say he'll have local law enforcement here by this afternoon with a court order. He'll try to execute it fast. Take Sam into protective custody. Get Evelyn back to Houston before anyone can stop him. Can he do that legally? With the right judge and the right paperwork? Yeah, he can. At least temporarily. Then it becomes a legal battle that could take months. We don't have months. Which is why we need to file our countersuit today, right now. Tommy was already on his phone. I've got a contact at the Austin Statesman, reporter who's been trying to dig into Hamilton Oil's corruption for years. I give her this story, it's front page tomorrow. Do it, Jake said. Jake, wait. Evelyn was shaking. You don't know what you're asking. Once this goes public, there's no taking it back. Montgomery will come after you. Your business, Emma, everything. Let him. You keep saying that like it doesn't terrify you. Oh, it terrifies me, but I'm doing it anyway. Jake took her hand. That's what courage is. Being scared and doing it anyway. Sarah used to tell me that. Evelyn's fingers tightened around his. Okay. Call the reporter. Tommy made the call, put it on speaker. Reeves, you better have something good. I'm in the middle of. How'd you like to break the story of the year? The reporter, a woman named Martinez, went quiet. I'm listening. Montgomery Hamilton, attempted kidnapping, false imprisonment, abuse of power. I've got documents, medical reports, audio recordings, and a victim willing to go on record. Jesus Christ. Are you serious? Dead serious, but we need to move fast. Can you be in Millbrook by 2? I'll be there by noon. Tommy hung up, looked at Evelyn. You ready for this? No, but I'm doing it anyway. At 11:30, a squad car pulled up outside. 2 deputies got out. Jake's heart stopped. Tommy. I see them. Stay calm. Let me handle this. The deputies came to the door, knocked. Jake opened it with Tommy right behind him. Jake Morrison. That's me. We need to speak with Evelyn Hamilton. We have a court order. Tommy stepped forward. I'm Mrs. Hamilton's attorney. Let me see that order. The deputy handed over papers. Tommy read them quickly. His jaw tightened. This is from Harris County. You have no jurisdiction here. We're executing on behalf of Harris County at the request of. I know who requested it, and this order is illegal. Mrs. Hamilton is not a resident of Harris County. She's not subject to their jurisdiction, and this psych evaluation was obtained under false pretenses. Sir, we're just doing our job. We need to take Mrs. Hamilton and her son into protective custody pending a hearing. Over my dead body. The deputy's hand moved toward his gun. Jake stepped forward, putting himself between Tommy and the deputy. Nobody's doing anything stupid here. We're all just trying to do right by a kid. Your fathers, right? Both of you. The deputies glanced at each other. The older one nodded. So you understand. A mother protecting her son from people who hurt her. That's what this is. Not some custody dispute, not some crazy woman. A mother trying to keep her child safe. Sir, we have our orders. Your orders are based on lies, on fraudulent paperwork. on a bought judge doing favors for a rich man. Jake's voice was steady, calm. You execute that order, you're complicit in kidnapping. And when this goes to federal court, and it will, your names will be all over it. The deputies looked at each other again. Some silent conversation happening. We'll need to call our supervisor. You do that. We'll wait right here. The deputies walked back to their car, started making calls. Tommy grabbed Jake's arm. That was either the smartest or stupidest thing you've ever done. Bought us time either way. Maybe, but if they come back with backup, then we deal with it. Evelyn appeared in the doorway. Sam was behind her holding her hand. What's happening? We're stalling. Keep Sam inside. Don't let him see this. But Sam had already seen. Was staring at the police car with wide, terrified eyes. Mom, are they taking us away? No, baby, no. We're staying right here. The deputies got out of their car again, walked back up. Our supervisor says to stand down, says there are federal lawyers involved now, says this is above our pay grade. The older deputy looked at Jake. But I'm telling you right now, this isn't over. Hamilton has resources we can't even imagine. You're picking a fight you can't win. Maybe, but I'm picking it anyway. The deputies left. Jake watched them drive away. His hands were shaking. Evelyn wrapped her arms around him from behind. You were amazing. I was terrified. Me too. But you did it anyway. They stood there for a moment. Then Tommy cleared his throat. Hate to break up the moment, but Martinez will be here in 30 minutes. We need to prep. Evelyn, I need you to walk me through everything one more time. Every detail, every date, every conversation. Martinez is going to ask hard questions, and we need good answers. For the next hour, they went through the story. Tommy asked questions. Evelyn answered. Jake listened and felt his anger building. At Montgomery, at Ethan, at every person who'd enabled this abuse. Martinez showed up at noon sharp. She was younger than Jake expected. Maybe 35. Sharp eyes. Recorder in hand. Mrs. Hamilton, thank you for agreeing to talk. Thank you for listening. They sat down. Martinez started recording. Tell me everything. Evelyn did. The whole story. From her grandfather's death to Montgomery's threats to the night she ran with Sam. She didn't cry. Didn't break, just told it straight. When she finished, Martinez was shaking her head. This is going to blow up. You know that, right? Every news outlet in the country will be calling. Montgomery will have his PR team working overtime to discredit you. I know. And you're sure you want to do this? Evelyn looked at Jake, at Tommy, at Sam playing with Emma in the next room. I'm sure. Okay then. Story runs tomorrow morning. Front page. By noon, everyone in Texas will know Montgomery Hamilton tried to have his daughter-in-law committed to steal her fortune. Martinez left. Tommy started working on the federal filing. Jake made lunch that nobody ate. At 2:33, black SUVs pulled up outside. Jake's stomach dropped. Tommy, I see them. Nobody goes outside. Nobody opens the door. Men in suits got out. 8 of them. They didn't come to the door. Just stood there, watching. Jake's phone rang. Unknown number. Morrison? Mr. Morrison, my name is Charles Whitmore. I'm chief counsel for Hamilton Oil. I'd like to speak with you about this unfortunate situation. I've got nothing to say to you. I think you do. Because right now you're harboring a fugitive. You're interfering with a legal custody order. You're opening yourself up to criminal charges. Your custody order is fraudulent. That's for a judge to decide. But in the meantime, you're breaking the law. So here's my offer. Send Mrs. Hamilton out. Right now. No charges will be filed against you. You go back to your life. Your daughter stays safe. Everyone wins. Except Evelyn and Sam. Mrs. Hamilton will receive the best care available, and Sam will be raised by family who can actually provide for him. No. Mr. Morrison, be reasonable. You're a single father. You run a failing garage. You can't protect them. You can't fight us. All you can do is make this harder on everyone. Then I guess I'm making it harder. You have 1 hour. After that we come in, and we take them, one way or another. The line went dead. Jake looked at Tommy. Can they do that? Can they just force their way in? Not legally. But Montgomery doesn't care about legal. He cares about getting what he wants. So what do we do? Tommy was already dialing. We call the real police, the state police. We file for emergency protection. We make this as public as possible so Montgomery can't pull anything. And if that doesn't work, Tommy met his eyes. Then we hope your locks are good. The next hour was the longest of Jake's life. He sent Emma and Sam upstairs with instructions to stay in Emma's room with the door locked. Evelyn paced the kitchen like a caged animal. Tommy was on the phone constantly calling every contact he had. At 3:25, 2 state police cruisers pulled up. 4 troopers got out. They talked to the men in suits. Voices were raised. Fingers were pointed. One of the troopers came to the door. Jake opened it. Mr. Morrison. I'm Sergeant Ramirez. We've been apprised of the situation. Those men are under orders to stand down. There will be no forced entry today. Thank God. But sir, you need to understand. This is a temporary solution. Montgomery Hamilton has resources that don't quit. He'll keep coming. Different tactics. Different approaches. You can't hold him off forever. I just need long enough for the truth to come out. Ramirez looked at him for a long moment. You're either very brave or very stupid. Probably both. All right then, we'll maintain a presence here for the next few hours, but after that, you're on your own. The troopers stayed until sunset. The men in suits stayed longer, sitting in their SUVs, watching, waiting. Finally, at 8 p.m. they left, all 3 vehicles pulling away in formation. Jake locked every door, every window, set the alarm he hadn't used in 2 years. Evelyn found him in the kitchen. It's not over, is it? No, it's not over. I should leave, take Sam and disappear before someone gets hurt. You're not leaving. Jake, those men, they're not going away. Tomorrow there will be more, and more, until Montgomery gets what he wants. Then let him try, because I'm not giving up. Not on you, not on Sam, not on this. Evelyn started to cry. Real tears this time, not the silent ones she'd been holding back all day. Jake pulled her close, let her cry into his shoulder, felt her shake. I'm so tired, she whispered. I'm so tired of fighting. I know, but you're not fighting alone anymore. She pulled back, looked at him. Why are you doing this? Really? Jake thought about it. About Sarah. About the promises he'd made. About the man he wanted to be versus the man he'd become. Because 3 years ago, I made a promise to my wife that I wouldn't let grief turn me into someone she wouldn't recognize. Someone who didn't help, who didn't care, who didn't try. His voice cracked. And today, for the first time since she died, I kept that promise. I'm not stopping now. Evelyn kissed him. Not grateful this time. Not desperate. Something else. Something that felt like the beginning of something neither of them had planned for. When they broke apart, Jake's phone was buzzing. Text from Tommy. Stories live. It's already trending. #Justice for Evelyn. Martinez did good. Real good. By morning, the whole country will know what Montgomery tried to do. Jake showed Evelyn the message. She laughed through her tears. We actually did it. We went public. We did. So what happens now? Now, we see if the truth is enough. They went upstairs. Found Emma and Sam asleep in Emma's bed. Both of them tangled together like puppies. Evelyn's breath caught. They look so peaceful. Yeah. Let's try to keep them that way. Jake carried Sam to the guest room, tucked him in. Evelyn sat on the edge of the bed stroking her son's hair. Tomorrow's going to be hard, she said quietly. Montgomery will have seen the story. He'll be furious. He'll come at us with everything. Let him come. You keep saying that. But Jake, you don't know him. He's not just rich. He's ruthless. He's destroyed people for less than this. Then he's never met anyone too stubborn to quit. Evelyn smiled, sad but real. No, I don't think he has. Jake left her there, went to check on Emma. His daughter was sprawled across her bed, one arm hanging off the edge, completely vulnerable, completely trusting that her dad would keep her safe. The weight of that trust felt like it might crush him. Sarah's voice in his head. "You've got this, Jake. You're stronger than you think." Jake hoped she was right. Because tomorrow, when Montgomery Hamilton saw that story, when he realized his secret was out there, would be hell to pay. And Jake Morrison's small-town mechanic, widowed father, was about to find out if he was strong enough to stand against a billion-dollar empire. Outside, a car drove by slowly, headlights off. Jake watched it pass, watched it circle the block, come back. Different car than before, different approach, but same message. They were still watching, still waiting, still hunting. Jake closed the curtains, triple-checked the locks, set a chair under the front door handle. Then he lay down on the couch with his phone in his hand and waited for morning. Morning came with the sound of car doors slamming. Jake was off the couch before his eyes were fully open. He looked out the window and felt his stomach drop. The street was packed. News vans, reporters, cameras. At least 20 people with microphones and notepads crowding his driveway. His phone was already ringing. Had been ringing. 17 missed calls. 32 text messages. Tommy's name flashed on the screen. Jake answered. "Jake, tell me you're seeing this." "I'm seeing it." Jake's voice was rough from no sleep. "What do I do?" "Nothing. Don't go outside. Don't talk to anyone." Martinez's story hit like a bomb. Every outlet in the country picked it up. CNN, Fox, MSNBC, your national news now. That's good, right? That's what we wanted. Yeah, but it also means Montgomery knows he's losing control of the narrative. He's going to escalate. Fast. As if on cue, 3 black SUVs pushed through the crowd of reporters. They parked right in front of Jake's garage. Doors opened. Men in expensive suits got out. And then he appeared. Montgomery Hamilton. Jake had seen pictures. Everyone in Texas had seen pictures. But seeing him in person was different. The man was 70 if he was a day, but he moved like someone half that age. Tall, silver hair, custom suit that probably cost more than Jake's truck. He looked at the reporters like they were insects. Looked at Jake's garage like it was something stuck to his shoe. "Jake?" Evelyn was at the top of the stairs. Her face had gone white. "He's here. Montgomery's here." "I know. Get Sam. Get Emma. Keep them upstairs no matter what you hear." "Jake, go. Now." Evelyn disappeared. Jake heard her running, heard Emma's door open, heard voices. Someone knocked on the door. Not gentle, hard, demanding. Jake opened it. Montgomery Hamilton stood there with 4 men behind him. Lawyers, probably, or security. Hard to tell the difference. "Mr. Morrison, I'm Montgomery Hamilton. I believe you have something that belongs to me." "I don't have anything of yours. My grandson, my daughter-in-law. They're in this building. I'm taking them home." "This is their home. For now, anyway." Montgomery's smile was cold. "Son, I don't think you understand the situation. That woman upstairs has been declared mentally incompetent by 3 separate doctors. She kidnapped my grandson. She's broken multiple court orders, and you're harboring her. That makes you complicit. Your court orders are based on lies. Your doctors are on your payroll. And the only kidnapping happening here is what you're trying to do right now." Bold words from a man who's about to lose everything. Montgomery pulled out a folded paper, handed it to Jake. "That's a lawsuit, filed this morning. Against you personally, for interference with custody, harboring a fugitive, and emotional distress. I'm suing you for $10 million. Jake looked at the paper. The numbers swam. 10 million. He didn't have 10,000. You can't afford to fight me, Montgomery continued. You can barely afford to keep this garage running. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to step aside. My men are going to collect Evelyn and Sam, and you're going to walk away from this mess before it destroys you and your daughter. No. Montgomery's expression didn't change, but something dark flickered in his eyes. Excuse me. I said no, you're not taking them. Not today, not ever. Mr. Morrison, I've done my homework on you. Jacob Morrison, age 38, honorably discharged from the Army, widower, single father. Your wife died 3 years ago. Cancer. You've been struggling ever since. Business is failing. You're 6 months behind on property taxes. Your daughter sees a therapist twice a month because she still has nightmares about losing her mother. Montgomery's voice was clinical, precise. You're barely holding it together. And now you want to take on a legal battle that will bankrupt you, destroy what little stability you've managed to build for that child? Jake's hands clenched into fists. Get off my property. I'll leave when I have what I came for. Then you're not leaving. One of Montgomery's men stepped forward. Sir, we can handle this. No. Montgomery held up a hand. Mr. Morrison deserves to understand. He's confused. He thinks he's the hero in this story. Montgomery looked at Jake like he was studying a bug. But heroes need resources. They need power. They need leverage. You have none of those things. What you have is a misplaced sense of righteousness and a woman who's been lying to you. She hasn't lied about anything. Hasn't she? Did she tell you about the psychiatric evaluation? The one that found her delusional paranoid. Did she tell you she tried to drain $43 billion from family trusts without any oversight? Did she tell you she's been diagnosed with severe depression and has been off her medication for months? Those are lies. Your lies. They're documented medical facts, signed by doctors, approved by judges. Tell me, Mr. Morrison, what makes you so certain you know better than trained professionals? Jake didn't have an answer for that. Not one that would satisfy a man like Montgomery. I know what I've seen. I know Evelyn is scared. I know Sam is terrified of you. I know you sent men to grab them in the middle of the night. I sent security to protect my daughter-in-law from herself, to protect my grandson from a mother who's clearly in crisis. Montgomery's voice was so reasonable, so calm. That's what made it terrifying. And I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to ensure that boy's safety, even if it means destroying everyone who stands in my way. Then I guess you'll have to destroy me. Montgomery studied him for a long moment. All right then, have it your way. He turned to his men. Call Sheriff Davidson. Tell him we have a hostage situation, armed and dangerous. We need immediate assistance. Jake's blood ran cold. That's a lie. I'm not armed. I'm not holding anyone hostage. Aren't you? You're preventing me from executing a legal court order. You're keeping my grandson from his family. In Texas, that's close enough. Montgomery's smile was reptilian. Sheriff Davidson is an old friend. He'll understand the urgency. One of the men was already on the phone. Jake could hear him talking, hear him saying words like armed and unstable and child in danger. This was spinning out of control, fast. Jake stepped back inside, slammed the door, locked it. His hands were shaking so hard he could barely work the deadbolt. Tommy called again. Jake answered. They're saying you're armed. Are you armed? No, I don't even own a gun. Sarah hated guns. Doesn't matter. They're creating a narrative. By the time the sheriff gets there, every cop in the county will think you're dangerous. What do? You open the door. You let them see you're not a threat. You cooperate fully. And you let me handle the legal side. They'll take Sam. They'll take Evelyn. Probably. But if you resist, they'll arrest you. They'll take Emma. And then you can't help anyone. Jake wanted to put his fist through the wall. This isn't right. No, it's not. But it's reality. Montgomery has the system on his side. We need time for the court of public opinion to shift things. Right now, we need everyone to survive this." The phone went dead. Jake stood there, trapped in his own home. Outside, he could hear Montgomery talking to reporters, spinning the story, playing the worried grandfather. "My daughter-in-law is ill. She needs help. We're simply trying to ensure my grandson's safety. This man, Mr. Morrison, he means well, but he's been manipulated by someone who's not in her right mind." The reporters were eating it up. Cameras flashing, questions shouting. Montgomery had done this before, knew exactly how to play it. Footsteps on the stairs. Evelyn appeared with Sam. Emma was right behind them, holding Sam's hand. "Jake." Evelyn's voice was barely a whisper. "What's happening?" "Montgomery's outside. He's called the sheriff. He's saying I'm holding you hostage." "Oh God." "He's going to take Sam, unless we give him up willingly." "No." Evelyn pulled Sam closer. "No, I won't let him. We might not have a choice." Emma was crying now, silent tears streaming down her face. "Dad, what's going to happen?" "I don't know, Princess. I don't know." Sam looked up at his mother. "Mom, is Grandpa going to take me away?" Evelyn couldn't answer, just held him tighter. Sirens in the distance, getting closer. Jake walked to the window, watched 3 sheriff's cruisers pull up, watched deputies get out, watched Montgomery talking to them, pointing at the garage, making hand gestures. The sheriff himself walked up to Jake's door, knocked. "Jake, it's Bill Davidson, open up. Let's talk about this." Jake knew Bill, had fixed his patrol car half a dozen times. Bill was a good man, fair. But he was also Montgomery's friend. Had been for 30 years. Jake opened the door, hands visible, empty. "Bill." "Jake, what's going on here?" "Montgomery Hamilton is trying to kidnap his grandson. I'm trying to stop him." "That's not what he says. He says you're keeping them here against their will." "That's a lie. Ask Evelyn yourself." "I intend to." Bill looked past Jake. "Mrs. Hamilton, can you come down here, please?" Evelyn appeared at the top of the stairs. Sam was still clinging to her. "Mrs. Hamilton, are you here voluntarily?" "Yes." "Is Mr. Morrison holding you against your will?" "No, he's protecting us." "From what?" "From that man." Evelyn pointed at Montgomery. "He tried to have me committed. He sent men to drag me to a psychiatric facility. He's trying to take my son so he can control my inheritance." Bill looked uncomfortable. "Ma'am, I've seen the court orders. They say whatever Montgomery paid judges to say. None of it is true. I'm not crazy. I'm not unfit. I'm a mother trying to protect her child." Montgomery stepped forward. "Sheriff, as you can see, my daughter-in-law is clearly unwell. She's making wild accusations. She's paranoid, delusional. This is exactly why the court ordered a psychiatric evaluation." "I'm not delusional. I have evidence, documents, recordings, medical reports that prove fabrications, all of it." Montgomery's voice was so calm, so reasonable. "Evelyn has been unstable since her grandfather died. Her grief manifested as paranoia. She became convinced the family was trying to hurt her. It's tragic, really, but she needs help, professional help, not enablers like Mr. Morrison who feed into her delusions." Jake wanted to punch him, wanted to wipe that calm expression off his face, but that's exactly what Montgomery wanted. One wrong move and Jake would be arrested, would lose everything. Bill was looking between them, trying to decide. "Mrs. Hamilton, why don't you come down here? Let's talk. Just you and me. No Mr. Morrison. No Mr. Hamilton. Just us." Evelyn looked at Jake. He nodded. She came down slowly. Bill led her outside, away from Montgomery, away from Jake. They talked in low voices. Jake couldn't hear what they were saying. Emma grabbed his hand. "Dad, is Miss Grace coming back?" "I don't know, baby." "She has to come back. Sam needs her. We need her." "I know." After 10 minutes, Bill came back inside. His face was grim. "Jake, I'm going to ask you to step aside." "Bill, I don't have a choice here. Montgomery has legal custody orders. Evelyn has been declared incompetent. Until a judge says otherwise, I have to enforce the orders. Those orders are fraudulent." "Maybe. But that's not for me to decide. That's for the courts. So you're just going to hand them over, hand a little boy over to a man who terrifies him?" Bill's jaw tightened. "I'm doing my job. I suggest you don't make this harder than it has to be." Jake looked at Evelyn. She was crying now, really crying. Sam was wrapped around her legs, sobbing. "Please," she said. "Please don't do this. Please." But Montgomery was already moving. His men surrounded Evelyn and Sam. One of them reached for the boy. Sam screamed, "No, no, I want to stay with Mom. I want to stay with Emma." Emma broke free from Jake and ran to Sam, threw her arms around him. "You can't take him. He's my friend. Emma, get back here." Jake tried to pull her away, but she held on tighter. "No, it's not fair. They're mean and we're nice, and Mom would say we should help." Jake froze. Emma almost never mentioned Sarah, almost never brought her up. But now she was standing there, tears streaming down her face, shouting about what her mother would have wanted. And she was right. Sarah would have fought, would have stood between those men and that little boy and refused to move. But Jake wasn't Sarah. He was just a man. One man against an empire. Bill gently separated Emma from Sam. "Come on, sweetheart, let go." "No, please, please don't let them take him." One of Montgomery's men picked Sam up. The boy was screaming, crying, reaching for Evelyn. "Mom, Mom, don't let them take me. Please." Evelyn tried to grab him, but two men held her back. "Sam, baby, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Montgomery watched it all with that same calm expression, like he was watching a business transaction, like the screaming child was just paperwork being processed. "This is for the best," he said. "Sam needs stability. He needs family. He'll understand someday." They carried Sam to the SUV, put him inside. The boy pressed his face against the window, still crying, still reaching. Evelyn collapsed, actually collapsed. Jake caught her before she hit the ground. "Sam, my baby. They took my baby." I know, I'm so sorry." Bill approached them. "Mrs. Hamilton, you need to come too. The court order includes you. You're to be transported to St. Catherine's Psychiatric Facility for a 72-hour evaluation." "No." Evelyn's voice was hollow, empty. "No, I can't. I can't leave him alone with Montgomery. He'll poison him against me. He'll tell him I'm crazy. Ma'am, I don't have a choice. Neither do you." Two female deputies moved forward. They were gentle, kind even, but firm. They helped Evelyn to her feet. She turned to Jake. Her eyes were destroyed. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I dragged you into this. I'm sorry I ruined your life." "You didn't ruin anything." "I did. Look around. Look at what's happening. Your daughter is traumatized. Your business is going to be destroyed. Montgomery will make sure of it. All because you tried to help us." "I'd do it again." "I know. That's what makes this so much worse." Evelyn reached up, touched his face. "You're a good man, Jake Morrison. Your wife was right about you. Don't let Montgomery take that away." She pulled something from her pocket, the flashlight, the old military flashlight Jake had given her that first night, the one that used to be Sarah's. "This belongs with you, with your family, with people who still know how to love." Jake's throat closed. "Evelyn, take care of Emma. Tell her I'm sorry. Tell Sam I'm sorry. Tell them both that sometimes the world is cruel, but there are still good people in it. People like you and your daughter." Her voice broke. "Tell them I love them." The deputies led her away. She didn't resist, just walked to the squad car like a ghost, like someone who'd already given up. Jake stood there holding the flashlight, watching them put Evelyn in the back seat. watching the SUV with Sam pull away first, watching the squad car with Evelyn follow. Emma was screaming, crying so hard she could barely breathe. Jake picked her up, held her, let her sob into his shoulder. "Dad, we have to do something. We have to save them." "I know, baby, I know." But he didn't know. Didn't know what to do. Didn't know how to fight this. Montgomery approached them, that calm expression still in place. "Mr. Morrison, I want you to understand something. I don't enjoy this. I don't take pleasure in it. But my family comes first, always. And I will do whatever is necessary to protect what's mine. That boy isn't yours. He's Evelyn's. Evelyn is sick, incompetent. She can't care for him. I can. I will." Montgomery straightened his tie. "And you're going to stay away. You're going to drop this crusade. You're going to forget you ever met them. Because if you don't, that lawsuit I mentioned, that's just the beginning. I will destroy you, your business, your reputation. I will make sure you lose everything, including that little girl you're holding. You threatening to take my daughter. I'm saying the court might question whether a man who consorts with mentally ill women and harbors fugitives is fit to raise a child, especially a child who's already emotionally fragile." Montgomery's smile was poisonous. "Think about it. Think about whether this fight is worth losing Emma." He walked away, got in his SUV, drove off with his convoy. The reporters swarmed, shouting questions, cameras flashing. Jake pushed through them, got inside, locked the door. Emma was still crying, still shaking. "Dad, we have to get them back. We have to." "I know, Princess, I know. Just let me think." But he couldn't think. His mind was white noise, static. Everything had fallen apart in less than an hour. His phone rang. "Tommy, I saw what happened. I'm coming over." "Don't bother, it's done. Montgomery won. He won a battle, not the war. We still have—" "He has Sam. He has Evelyn locked in a psych facility. He threatened to take Emma. We have nothing." "Jake, listen to me. This is not over. The media coverage is massive. People are on Evelyn's side. We can use that. We can—" "I can't risk Emma. You understand, I can't put my daughter through any more of this." "So what you're giving up?" Jake looked at Emma, at her red eyes, at the way she was shaking, at the flashlight in his hand that used to light Sarah's way in the dark. "I don't know. I don't know." He hung up, set the phone down, sat on the couch with Emma still in his arms. They sat there for a long time, not talking, just holding each other. The flashlight rested on the coffee table. Sarah's flashlight, now Evelyn's flashlight, now his again. He tried to turn it on. The button stuck, wouldn't click. The light was broken, just like everything else. Outside, the reporters finally started to leave. One by one, the story moving on. The next crisis already demanding attention. By evening, the street was empty, quiet, like none of it had ever happened. Emma had cried herself to sleep on Jake's lap. He carried her to bed, tucked her in, sat with her until he was sure she was really out. Then he went back downstairs, looked at the flashlight, looked at his empty house, looked at the garage where Evelyn had worked just yesterday, where Sam had played with Emma, where something like hope had been growing. All of it gone now, torn apart by a man with enough money to make the law whatever he wanted it to be. Jake picked up the flashlight, tried the button again, still broken. He set it on the counter next to the coffee maker, next to the mug Evelyn had used that morning, next to all the little pieces of a life that had briefly felt whole again. His phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Was anything real? Or was I just another mark? Jake stared at the words, felt anger rise in his chest, hot and bitter. Was anything real? The fear in Evelyn's eyes that first night, the way she'd held Sam, the way she'd kissed him, the way she'd looked at him like he was someone worth believing in. Was any of it real? Or had she just been using him? Using his grief. Using his need to be a hero. He didn't know. Couldn't know. Montgomery had planted the doubt, and now it was growing like poison. Jake threw the phone across the room. It hit the wall, didn't break, just clattered to the floor. He sank onto the couch, put his head in his hands, and for the first time in 3 years since Sarah's funeral, Jake Morrison let himself completely fall apart. Because maybe Montgomery was right. Maybe he wasn't a hero. Maybe he was just a fool who'd risked everything for someone who'd been lying all along. The flashlight sat on the counter, dark, broken, useless, just like Jake felt. 3 days passed like a nightmare Jake couldn't wake up from. Emma stopped talking. Just stopped. She'd get up, get dressed, eat breakfast if Jake forced her to, then sit on her bed staring at nothing. The therapist said it was shock, said to give her time. But time wasn't fixing anything. Time was just making it worse. The garage was empty. Nobody wanted their cars fixed by the guy who'd been all over the news. The guy Montgomery Hamilton had called dangerous, unstable. A man who consorted with mentally ill women. Jake's phone rang constantly. Reporters, lawyers, people with opinions. He stopped answering. Let it all go to voicemail. What was the point? Tommy came by on the second day. Brought food Jake didn't eat. Talked about appeals and public pressure and fighting back. Jake listened without hearing. When Tommy finally left, he said something that stuck. Sarah would be ashamed of you right now. Jake should have been angry, should have thrown Tommy out. Instead, he just nodded. Because Tommy was right. Sarah would have been ashamed. She'd raised him better than this, taught him better than this. But knowing, it didn't change anything. On the third night, Jake tried to fix the flashlight. Sat at his workbench in the garage with tools spread out. Unscrewed the base, checked the batteries, cleaned the contacts. Nothing worked. The button was jammed, the bulb was blown. The whole thing was just broken, kind of like him. He was about to throw it in the trash when Emma appeared in the doorway. First time she'd left her room in hours. Don't. Her voice was so small, so fragile. Don't what, princess? Don't throw it away. It was Mom's and Miss Grace's. You can't throw it away. Jake set the flashlight down. It's broken, Em. Can't fix it. Everything's broken. Emma's eyes filled with tears. But we don't throw people away when they're broken. Mom used to say that. Remember? Jake did remember. Sarah had said it about him after he came back from Afghanistan with nightmares and shakes. Said it about her sister, who struggled with addiction. Said it about everyone she'd ever loved who'd been damaged by life. You're right. I'm sorry. Emma walked over, picked up the flashlight, held it like it was precious. Miss Grace gave this back to you because she wanted you to remember. Remember that you're a good person, that we helped them even when it was hard. We didn't help them. Montgomery took them. We lost. We tried, though. That's what matters. Emma looked at him with those two old eyes. Mom would say trying is what makes you brave, not winning. Jake pulled her into a hug, felt her shake against him. When did you get so smart? I've always been smart. You just don't notice because you're sad all the time. That hurt. Hurt because it was true. I'm sorry, Em. I'm sorry I've been sad. I'm sorry I dragged you into this mess. I'm sorry. Stop saying sorry. Start doing something. Emma pulled back. We have to get them back, Dad. Sam's probably so scared. And Miss Grace is locked up with doctors who think she's crazy even though she's not. We have to help them. I don't know how. Then figure it out. You're the grown-up. She left. Took the flashlight with her. Left Jake sitting in his garage feeling like the world's biggest failure. On the fourth day, Mrs. Chen called. Said her Buick was making that noise again. Could Jake take a look? It was the first work call in days. Jake said yes because he needed something to do, needed to feel useful at something. The Buick was easy. Loose belt, 20-minute fix. He was sliding out from under the car when his phone rang. Tommy's name flashed on the screen. Jake almost didn't answer. Almost let it go to voicemail like all the others. But something made him pick up. What? She's getting out. Jake sat up so fast he hit his head on the undercarriage. What? Evelyn, St. Catherine's is releasing her. The 72-hour hold is up and they can't legally keep her longer. She's being released this afternoon. But Montgomery said, Montgomery doesn't own the psychiatric facility. They did their evaluation. Found her completely competent. Actually, the doctor's report says she shows no signs of delusion or paranoia. Just severe stress and trauma consistent with abuse. Jake's heart was hammering. So she was telling the truth. About everything. Yeah, she was. And now we have medical proof. An independent evaluation that contradicts Montgomery's doctors. Tommy's voice was electric. This changes everything, Jake. This gives us ammunition. We can file for emergency custody. We can prove Montgomery's court orders were based on fraudulent evidence. Where is she? Where's Evelyn going when they release her? I don't know. She doesn't have anywhere to go. Can't go back to Houston. Can't access her money. She's basically homeless. Tell her to come here. Jake. Tell her. She comes here. We figure out the next move together. Are you sure? After what Montgomery said about Emma about taking her? Jake thought about his daughter. About her holding that broken flashlight. About her saying trying is what makes you brave. I'm sure. Tell Evelyn she has a home here as long as she needs it. Tommy was quiet for a moment. Okay. I'll let her know. But Jake Montgomery's not going to like this. He's going to come at you even harder. Let him come. I'm done running scared. Jake hung up, looked at the Buick, at the garage, at the life he'd been trying to hold together with duct tape and denial. Time to stop hiding. Time to fight. He was reaching for his wrench when everything went wrong. The jack slipped. Just slipped. 1 second it was solid under the Buick, the next it was falling. The car came down. Fast. Heavy. Jake tried to roll out, but he wasn't fast enough. The weight hit his leg. Crushing. Exploding pain shot through him. He screamed. Tried to push the car off but couldn't get leverage. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Emma. His voice came out weak. Wrong. Emma. Nothing. She was upstairs with headphones on. Couldn't hear him. Jake's vision started to blur. The pain was everything, all-consuming. He could feel his leg being destroyed, bones breaking, blood pooling. He was going to die here, on the floor of his own garage, under Mrs. Chen's Buick. Sarah's face flashed in his mind, the way she'd looked at the end, pale and thin but still smiling, still telling him to be strong, to take care of Emma, to keep living. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry I couldn't. His phone was ringing. Somewhere near his hand. He couldn't see it through the haze of pain, but he could hear it. He reached, fingers brushing the screen. Hit something. Didn't know what. Dad. Emma's voice, through the phone. She must have been calling from upstairs. Emma. His voice was barely there. Garage. Help. Dad. What's wrong? Dad. He heard her running, heard her footsteps pounding down the stairs. Then she was there. Screaming. Crying. Dad. Oh God. Dad. What do I do? What do I do? Call 911. Call Tommy. Call. The darkness was closing in. Call someone. Emma was on her phone, shaking so hard she kept dropping it. But she got it. Got the call through. My dad's hurt. A car fell on him. Please come, please. Jake closed his eyes. The pain was fading now. That was bad. That meant he was going into shock. Maybe dying. At least Emma wouldn't be alone. Tommy would come. Would take care of her. Would make sure she was okay. That's all that mattered. The ambulance arrived in 6 minutes. Felt like 6 hours. The paramedics were professionals, calm, efficient. They jacked up the car, pulled Jake free, started working on him immediately. Crushed femur, possible internal bleeding. We need to move now. They loaded him onto a stretcher. Emma was crying, trying to climb in the ambulance with him. "Sweetie, you can't ride with us. Is there someone we can call?" "Mr. Reeves, Tommy Reeves. He's my dad's friend." One of the paramedics was already dialing, making arrangements. Emma gave them Tommy's number through her tears. "I'll meet you at the hospital, Princess," Jake managed to say. His voice sounded like gravel. "I'll be okay." "You better be. You promised Mom you'd take care of me. You promised." Then they were moving, sirens wailing. Jake drifted in and out. Pain, darkness, light. Voices saying things he couldn't understand. Surgery. They were taking him to surgery. He tried to stay awake, tried to fight the drugs they were pushing into his IV. But it was no use. The darkness won. When he woke up, the room was dim. Hospital room. Beeping machines. That antiseptic smell that reminded him of Sarah's last days. His leg was in a cast. Elevated. Throbbing but manageable. They had him on good drugs. "Dad!" Emma was in a chair next to the bed. Her eyes were red and puffy. Tommy was standing behind her. "Hey, Princess. You're okay. The doctor said you're okay." Emma grabbed his hand, held it like she'd never let go. "Your leg is broken. Really broken. But you're alive. You're okay." "Yeah, I'm okay." Jake looked at Tommy. "How long was I out?" 6 hours. Surgery went well. They put pins in. Said you'll walk again, but it'll take time. Physical therapy. Lots of it." "Emma called you." "She did. She was very brave. Called 911, called me, held it together until help arrived. Then she fell apart. But that's allowed." Tommy squeezed Emma's shoulder. "She also called someone else." "Who?" The door opened. A woman walked in. For a second, Jake thought the drugs were making him hallucinate. But no, she was real. Evelyn. She looked different. Thinner. Paler. Hair pulled back. Wearing jeans and a t-shirt someone must have given her. But her eyes were clear. Focused. Alive. "When Emma called and said you were hurt," she said quietly, "nothing else mattered." Jake couldn't speak, just stared at her. At this woman he'd thought he'd lost. At this woman who'd walked away 3 days ago like she was already gone. Emma stood up. "Miss Grace came as soon as I told her. She drove really fast, and she's been here for 2 hours waiting for you to wake up." Evelyn moved closer to the bed. "I heard about the accident. Heard you were in surgery. I couldn't stay away, even though I probably should have. Even though Montgomery will use this against us." "How did you get here?" "Tommy picked me up from St. Catherine's, brought me straight here." She sat down in the chair Emma had vacated. "I had to see you. Had to make sure you were okay." "Why?" The question hung in the air. Emma and Tommy quietly slipped out of the room, giving them privacy. "Because you saved my life," Evelyn said simply. "You and Emma both. You took us in when we had nothing. You fought for us when no one else would. You stood up to Montgomery Hamilton, even though you knew it would cost you everything." Her voice broke. "And I never even told you the whole truth." "What truth?" Evelyn took a breath. "The bruises. You asked me once where they came from. I said my husband's family. That was true, but not complete. They didn't come from Ethan. My husband was cruel, but he never hit me. The bruises came from Montgomery's men. His security team." Jake's jaw tightened. "Why?" "Because I was going to expose them. Not just donate my inheritance. I was going to release documents. Proof of illegal drilling. Environmental violations. Bribes. Everything the Hamilton family had done for decades. Everything my grandfather had hidden before he died." Evelyn's hands were shaking. I wasn't just running from wealth, Jake. I was running from corruption. From a family that's poisoned the land and the people for profit. And when Montgomery found out, he tried to stop me. Violently. Jesus. I have the documents. Everything. On a hard drive hidden in a storage unit in Dallas. That's what this is really about. Not Sam. Not my mental health. Control. Montgomery needs to control me so I can't release that information. So I can't destroy everything he's built. Jake processed this. That's why he's so desperate. That's why he's throwing everything at you. Yes. And now I've dragged you into it. Put you and Emma at risk. Almost got you killed under a car. Tears were streaming down her face now. I'm so sorry, Jake. I'm so sorry I brought this to your door. I should have kept running, should have never stopped here. But you did stop, and we helped, and I'd do it again. Why? Why would you risk everything for us? Jake thought about it, about Sarah, about the promises he'd made, about the man he wanted to be. Because 3 years ago I couldn't save the person I loved most. I had to watch her die slowly while I stood by helpless. Couldn't fix it. Couldn't stop it. Couldn't do a damn thing except hold her hand. His voice was rough, raw. But you, Sam, I could help. I could do something. And maybe that makes me selfish. Maybe I was using you to feel like less of a failure. But it doesn't change the fact that what Montgomery did to you is wrong. And somebody needed to stand up and say it. Evelyn was full on crying now. I didn't deserve you. Didn't deserve your help. Yes, you did. You and Sam both. We have to get him back. I've been out for 12 hours, and all I can think about is Sam alone in that house with Montgomery. Being told I'm crazy. Being told I abandoned him. I can't... She couldn't finish, just sobbed. Jake reached for her hand, pulled her closer. Then we get him back. Hal Montgomery has lawyers, money, the system. Yeah, but we have the truth. And Tommy says the psychiatric evaluation proves you're competent, that you were telling the truth all along. That just means Montgomery will file different paperwork, find different doctors, different judges. He won't stop. Neither will we. Jake squeezed her hand. You said you have documents, proof of what Hamilton Oil has done. We use that. We go public. We show the world exactly what kind of man Montgomery Hamilton really is. That will destroy the company, put thousands out of work. You were planning to expose them anyway. I know. But doing it now like this when I'm fighting for Sam, it looks vindictive, like I'm just trying to hurt Montgomery. Maybe you are, and maybe he deserves it. Evelyn looked at him. Really looked. You've changed. 3 days ago you were falling apart. Now you're ready to fight again. What happened? Emma happened. She told me Sarah would be ashamed of me for giving up. She was right. Jake shifted in the bed, winced at the pain. And lying under that car thinking I was going to die, I realized I couldn't go out like that. Couldn't leave Emma thinking her dad was a quitter. So yeah, I'm ready to fight. Question is, are you... Evelyn wiped her eyes, sat up straighter. Yes. Yes, I'm ready. Good. Then here's what we do. We get Tommy to file for emergency custody using the new psych evaluation. We release the documents about Hamilton Oil to every news outlet that'll take them. We make so much noise that Montgomery can't make us disappear. And we get your son back. It's not going to be easy. Nothing worth doing ever is. A knock on the door. Tommy stuck his head in. Sorry to interrupt, but there's something you both need to see. He came in with his phone, pulled up a news article. The headline made Jake's stomach drop. Montgomery Hamilton announces grandson's adoption proceedings. Claims birth mother unfit due to mental illness. The article detailed Montgomery's plans to legally adopt Sam, to become his guardian, to erase Evelyn from her son's life permanently. He's moving fast, Tommy said. Probably filed the paperwork the day they took Sam. He's not taking chances. Can he do that? Evelyn's voice was hollow. Can he just erase me? If he can prove you're unfit, yes. And he's got resources to make it look legitimate. Doctors who'll testify. Character witnesses. The whole 9 yards. But we have the psych evaluation now. We can prove I'm not unfit. We can try. But adoption cases are complicated. Could take months, years even. I don't have years. Sam doesn't have years. Every day he's with Montgomery is another day that man is poisoning him against me. Jake struggled to sit up, ignored the pain shooting through his leg. Then we don't play by the rules, we go around them. What do you mean? Montgomery's strength is the legal system. He owns it, controls it, so we don't fight him there. We fight him in the court of public opinion. Make this so big, so public that every move he makes is scrutinized. Make him the villain. How? The documents. Release them. All of them. Show the world what Hamilton Oil has done. Show them what Montgomery is really protecting. Jake's voice got stronger. You wanted to expose the corruption anyway. Do it now. Make Montgomery choose between his grandson and his empire. Evelyn stared at him. If I do that, there's no going back. Montgomery will never forgive me. Never give up. He won't give up anyway. At least this way you're fighting back. Tommy was nodding. Jake's right. We need leverage. Real leverage. Those documents are it. Release them and Montgomery loses his power. Loses his reputation. Maybe loses everything. And maybe loses so much that he can't fight anymore, Jake added. Can't afford the lawyers. Can't afford the bribes. Can't keep the system propped up in his favor. Evelyn closed her eyes, thinking. When she opened them again, there was something hard there, something determined. Okay, we do it. We release everything, but I need to get to Dallas. Get the hard drive from storage. Can you arrange that? I'll drive you myself, Tommy said. When? Tomorrow. First thing. We get the drive, we verify the contents, we release it to every major news outlet simultaneously. By tomorrow night, Montgomery Hamilton's world is on fire. Evelyn stood up, paced to the window, looked out at the parking lot. My grandfather would have hated this. He loved that company. Built it from nothing. But he also made a lot of mistakes, hurt a lot of people, destroyed a lot of land. She turned back. Maybe this is what he'd want. For someone to finally tell the truth, even if it destroys everything he built. Jake watched her, saw the strength coming back, saw the woman who'd been hiding behind fear step forward. Before we do this, he said, I need to know something. That night I found you in the rain. Was it chance? Or did you choose my garage specifically? Evelyn's lips quirked, almost a smile. Chance. Pure chance. I saw your light on. Saw it said, Morrison's Garage. Thought maybe someone named Morrison would be kind enough to help. She paused. Turns out I was right. And everything after everything between us was real. All of it. The fear, the gratitude, She stopped. You asked me once if anything was real. Everything was real, Jake. I just wasn't brave enough to tell you the whole truth until now. Before Jake could respond, Emma burst back into the room. Dad, look. She was holding the flashlight. The broken one. But it wasn't broken anymore. Light was shining from it. Bright and steady. How? Jake stared. That was busted. I tried to fix it. Couldn't. Evelyn took the flashlight from Emma. Turned it over in her hands. I fixed it. While you were in surgery. Needed something to do with my hands, so I wouldn't go crazy thinking about you dying. So I took it apart. Found the problem. Replaced the bulb. Cleaned the connections. Put it back together. She handed it to Jake. Some lights are worth fixing, even when they seem broken beyond repair. Jake held the flashlight. Felt its weight. Felt the warmth from the bulb. This light that had belonged to Sarah, then to Evelyn, now back to him, but different. Fixed. Made whole again. Thank you. No, thank you. For being the kind of person who stops in the rain. For being the kind of man who fights even when he's scared. For being someone worth believing in. Evelyn's voice was steady now, strong. Tomorrow we fight back. Tomorrow we get Sam. Tomorrow we show Montgomery Hamilton that he picked the wrong family to destroy. Jake nodded. Tomorrow. Emma climbed onto the bed next to him, careful of his leg. We're going to win, right, Dad? We're going to get Sam back, and Miss Grace is going to be okay, and we're all going to be together. Jake looked at his daughter, at her hope, at her trust that her father could fix this. Then he looked at Evelyn standing by the window with that determined set to her shoulders. At Tommy making notes on his phone about tomorrow's plan. Yeah, Princess. We're going to win. He didn't know if it was true. Didn't know if they stood a chance against Montgomery's money and power and corruption. But he knew they had to try, had to fight, had to be brave even when they were terrified. Because that's what heroes do. Not because they're sure they'll win, but because giving up isn't an option. Because some fights are worth having even if you lose. And because sometimes when you're broken and falling apart, the only thing left to do is piece yourself back together and shine anyway. Just like the flashlight. Just like Jake Morrison was going to do. They discharged Jake the next morning against doctor's orders. He signed the papers with a shaking hand, while the doctor lectured him about infection risk and proper healing and physical therapy. Jake nodded at all of it. Didn't matter. He had work to do. Tommy pulled his truck around. Emma helped Jake hobble out on crutches. Every step sent fire through his leg, but he gritted his teeth and kept moving. Evelyn was waiting in the passenger seat. She'd barely slept. Jake could see it in her eyes. You sure about this? Tommy asked as they drove. You just had major surgery 12 hours ago. I'm sure. Dallas is 3 hours. I can handle 3 hours. You're crazy, Morrison. Yeah, probably. Emma sat in the back with Evelyn, holding her hand. Neither of them speaking, but both finding comfort in the contact. Jake watched them in the rearview mirror and felt something shift in his chest. His daughter had lost so much already. But here she was still loving. Still hoping, still believing people were worth fighting for. Sarah would have been proud. The storage facility was in a rundown part of Dallas, chain-link fence, security cameras that probably didn't work. Tommy parked near Unit 247. You have the key, he asked Evelyn. She pulled it from her pocket, held it like it was made of glass. This is everything, every crime, every cover-up. Every life the Hamilton family destroyed in the name of profit. Once we release this, there's no taking it back. Second thoughts. Hundreds of them. But I'm doing it anyway. They got out. Jake stayed in the truck with Emma, watched through the windshield as Evelyn and Tommy approached the unit. She unlocked it, pulled up the door. Empty. Completely empty. Jake's heart stopped. Even from the truck, he could see Evelyn's face go white, could see her stumble. Tommy caught her. No, it was here. I put it here myself. Montgomery. Tommy's voice was hard. He found it. He's been one step ahead this whole time. Evelyn sank to her knees, put her face in her hands. It's over. Without those documents, we have nothing. No leverage. No proof. Nothing. Jake got out of the truck. Didn't care about the pain. Didn't care about anything except getting to Evelyn. Emma was right behind him. Maybe we don't need it, Jake said. Evelyn looked up. What? The hard drive. Maybe we don't need it. Montgomery taking it proves he's worried. Proves there's something to hide. Jake was thinking out loud now, putting pieces together. We go to the media anyway. Tell them what was in those files. Tell them Montgomery destroyed evidence. Make him prove he's innocent. Without proof, it's just accusations. My word against his. And everyone thinks I'm crazy. Not everyone. The psychiatric evaluation cleared you. That's proof you're sane. That's proof Montgomery lied. Tommy was nodding. We can work with this. It's not what we wanted, but it's something. It's not enough to get Sam back. Jake grabbed Evelyn's shoulders, made her look at him. Then we go get him ourselves. What are you talking about? Sam is your son, not Montgomery's. You have rights, legal rights, custody rights. We go to Montgomery's house and we take Sam home. That's kidnapping. Is it? You're his mother. The psych evaluation proves you're competent. Montgomery's adoption papers haven't been finalized. Legally, Sam is still yours. Tommy was shaking his head. Jake, that's a terrible idea. Montgomery will have you arrested. Let him try. By the time the cops show up, we'll have Sam. We'll have witnesses. We'll have Emma's testimony about how scared Sam was when they took him. We'll have public support. Jake's voice was rising, getting stronger. Montgomery's power comes from operating in shadows, from making things disappear quietly. But we're not quiet. We're loud. We're visible. Every move we make is documented. Every step is public. He can't make us disappear if the whole world is watching. Evelyn was staring at him. You want to just walk into Montgomery Hamilton's mansion and take Sam? Yes. That's insane. Probably, but it's also the only move Montgomery won't expect. He thinks we'll play by the rules, file paperwork, wait for judges, be patient. He doesn't think we'll come for Sam directly. Because it's crazy. Because it's brave. Jake squeezed her shoulders. You said you were tired of running, so stop running, stop hiding. Go get your son. Evelyn looked at Tommy. Is this even remotely legal? Legal, no. Defensible. Maybe. Stupid, absolutely. Tommy ran his hand through his hair. But Jake's right about one thing. Montgomery won't expect it. And if we document everything, if we have witnesses and cameras and make it public, he can't just make you disappear. Too many eyes watching. So we do it. We go now. Before Montgomery knows the storage unit is empty. Before he can prepare. Evelyn stood up. Her legs were shaky, but she was standing. We go get my son. They drove to Montgomery's estate in silence, each of them processing what they were about to do. Emma kept squeezing Jake's hand from the back seat. She was scared. He could feel it. But she wasn't asking them to stop, wasn't saying it was too dangerous. She just held on and trusted her dad to know what he was doing. Jake wished he had that same confidence. The Hamilton estate was massive, gated, security everywhere. Tommy pulled up to the entrance. A guard came out. This is private property. You need to leave. We're here to see Montgomery Hamilton, Tommy said. Tell him Evelyn Hamilton is here for her son. The guard looked at Evelyn. Recognition flashed across his face. He'd seen the news, knew exactly who she was. Mr. Hamilton doesn't want to see you, ma'am. You need to leave before we call the police. Call them. I'll wait. Evelyn's voice was steel. I'm not leaving without Sam. The guard spoke into his radio, waited. After a moment, the gates opened. Mr. Hamilton will see you, but you're being recorded. Everything you do and say will be documented. Good, Jake said. We want it documented. They drove up the long driveway, past manicured lawns and fountains and enough wealth to feed a small country. The house itself was obscene. 3 stories, marble columns, more windows than Jake could count. Montgomery was waiting on the front steps, arms crossed, that same calm expression. Evelyn, Mr. Morrison, Mr. Reeves, and young Emma. What a surprise. Where's Sam? Evelyn's voice was shaking, but she got the words out. Sam is inside, doing his homework, adjusting to his new life. His new life. He's 6 years old. He doesn't need a new life. He needs his mother. His mother is unstable. The courts agreed. The courts were wrong. I have proof. A psychiatric evaluation from St. Catherine's. It says I'm completely competent, that I show no signs of mental illness, that your doctors lied. Montgomery's expression didn't change. I haven't seen this evaluation. As far as I'm concerned, the original diagnosis stands. Then you'll see it in court, tomorrow, when we file for emergency custody. File all you want. Sam is staying here, where he's safe, where he's loved, where he's being raised properly. He's terrified of you. Emma's small voice cut through the tension. Everyone turned to look at her. She stepped forward. Sam told me. He said you're mean. He said you hurt his mom. He said he wants to go home. Montgomery looked down at her. Little girl, you don't understand what's happening here. I understand you're a bully, and my dad taught me to stand up to bullies. Jake felt tears sting his eyes. His daughter. His brave, beautiful daughter. Standing up to one of the most powerful men in Texas without flinching. Emma, get back in the truck, Montgomery said. No, not until you give Sam back. I'm not giving Sam back. He belongs here. He belongs with his mother. Montgomery's calm finally cracked, just a little. You need to leave, all of you, before I have security remove you. Try it. Jake stepped forward, put himself between Montgomery and Emma. Call your security. Call the police. Call whoever you want. We're not leaving without Sam. And when they arrest us, when they drag us away, every camera in Texas will capture it. Every news outlet will run the story. Montgomery Hamilton using force to keep a child from his mother. Let's see how that plays with the public. Montgomery stared at him. You're bluffing. Am I? Look around. See those news vans at the gate? They followed us here. They're already filming. Already broadcasting. You touch any of us. You arrest any of us. It's front page news. National news. The billionaire tyrant tearing a family apart. For the first time, Jake saw uncertainty in Montgomery's eyes. Saw him calculate. Saw him realize he was trapped. Sam is staying here. That's final. Then we'll wait. Evelyn sat down on the steps. Right here, until you let me see my son. Hours, days, however long it takes. And the cameras will capture every moment. Every minute you keep me from Sam. We'll see who the public believes. The mother or the billionaire. Montgomery's jaw tightened. You're making a mistake. The only mistake I made was not fighting you sooner. They sat there. All of them. Jake lowered himself onto the steps, despite the pain screaming through his leg. Emma sat next to him. Tommy stood behind them. Evelyn front and center, staring at the door like she could will it to open. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. News cameras were definitely at the gate now. Jake could see them. Could see reporters setting up. This was becoming a spectacle. Exactly what they needed. At 30 minutes, the front door opened. A woman in a maid's uniform came out. She looked nervous. Mrs. Hamilton, Sam is asking for you. He saw you on the security cameras. He's very upset. Montgomery's face went dark. Take him back to his room. Sir, he's crying. He's saying he wants his mother. I don't know what to... I said take him to his room. No. Evelyn stood up. I'm going to him. Right now. And if you try to stop me, if you lay one hand on me, those cameras will capture it. You'll be finished. Montgomery opened his mouth, closed it. He was cornered, and he knew it. Every move he made was wrong. Every word was ammunition. 5 minutes. You get 5 minutes with him, then you leave. No deal. I see Sam. We talk. And if he wants to leave with me, he leaves. That's how this works. He's 6 years old. He doesn't get to decide. He's 6 years old. He doesn't deserve to be a pawn in your game. Evelyn walked toward the door. Montgomery moved to block her. She stopped. I'm going to my son. You can either step aside, or you can physically assault me in front of witnesses and cameras. Your choice. The standoff lasted 10 seconds. 10 seconds that felt like an hour. Then Montgomery stepped aside. Evelyn went inside. Jake started to follow, but Tommy grabbed his arm. Let her do this. She needs to do this alone. They waited. Emma was crying softly. Jake put his arm around her, held her close. From inside the house they heard it. A child's voice, screaming with joy. Mom, Mom, you came back. You came back for me. Then Sam came running out. He hit Evelyn so hard they both almost fell. He was sobbing, laughing, holding on to her like she might disappear. I knew you'd come. I told Grandpa you'd come. I told him you always keep your promises. Evelyn was crying too, full body sobs. I'm here, baby. I'm here. Mommy's here. Can we go home? Can we go back to Mr. Jake's house? Can Emma come, please? Yes, we're going home. Montgomery stepped forward. No, you're not. Sam stays here. Sam looked at his grandfather. There was no love in that look, just fear. I don't want to stay here. I want my mom. I want Emma. I want to go home. Sam, your mother is sick. She needs help. You're safer here with me. You're mean. You said bad things about Mom. You said she was crazy, but she's not. She's the best mom in the whole world. Sam's little voice was defiant, brave. And Mr. Jake is nice. And Emma is my friend. And you're just mean. Sam, I hate you. The words exploded out of the boy. I hate you, and I want my mom. The cameras at the gate were capturing everything. Audio, video, a 6-year-old telling his grandfather he hated him, choosing his mother over billions of dollars. Montgomery's face had gone pale. You don't mean that. You don't mean. I do mean it. You're a bad person. Mr. Jake said bad people try to make good people scared. But I'm not scared of you anymore. Emma ran up the steps, grabbed Sam's hand. Come on, let's go home. Okay. Just like that. Just that simple. 2 kids holding hands, walking toward the truck. Evelyn followed. Then Tommy. Then Jake limping on his crutches. Montgomery didn't move. Just stood there. Watching everything he'd tried to control slip away. Watching his grandson choose love over money. Choose kindness over power. This isn't over, he called out. I'll file papers, get injunctions. You won't get away with this. Evelyn turned back. File whatever you want. The truth is out now. Everyone saw Sam choose me. Everyone saw him say he wants to leave. You can fight it in court, but you've already lost where it matters. You've lost Sam's heart. They got in the truck. Tommy started the engine. As they pulled away, Jake looked back. Montgomery was still standing there, looking smaller somehow. Like a man who'd finally realized money couldn't buy everything. The drive back to Millbrook was loud. Sam and Emma talking over each other, telling stories, making plans. Sam asking if he could stay forever. Emma saying yes before anyone else could answer. Evelyn just held her son, couldn't stop touching him, his hair, his face, like she needed to confirm he was real, that this was really happening. Thank you, she said quietly to Jake. Thank you for being crazy enough to believe we could do this. We're not done yet. Montgomery will come after us. He'll use every resource he has. Let him. I'm not running anymore. I'm done being afraid. When they got back to Millbrook, the street was packed again. News crews, reporters, people from town who'd seen the coverage and come to show support. Mrs. Chen was there with a casserole. The pastor from the church Sarah used to attend, even old Mr. Peterson. You did good, Jake, Peterson said. Real good. That little boy belongs with his mama. Everyone can see that. The next few weeks were chaos. Montgomery did file papers, did try to fight, but public opinion had shifted. The video of Sam saying he hated his grandfather went viral. Millions of views. Thousands of comments supporting Evelyn, supporting Jake, supporting the small-town mechanic who'd stood up to a billionaire. Tommy filed countersuits. Emergency custody hearing. Restraining order against Montgomery. And slowly, painfully, the legal system started to work. Started to side with Evelyn. Started to see through Montgomery's lies. The psychiatric evaluation helped. So did witness testimony. So did Sam's own words recorded and played for the judge. A 6-year-old saying he felt safe with his mother, felt loved, felt happy. 3 months later, the judge ruled. Full custody to Evelyn, supervised visitation only for Montgomery, and an investigation into the fraudulent psychiatric evaluation that had started everything. Montgomery appealed. Of course he did, but his lawyers were already abandoning him. His reputation was destroyed. His company was facing investigations. Everything was falling apart. Jake's leg healed slowly. Physical therapy 3 times a week. Learning to walk again. Learning to trust his body again. Evelyn was there for every session, encouraging him, pushing him, refusing to let him quit. "You didn't let me quit," she said. "I'm not letting you quit either." Emma and Sam were inseparable. School, homework, playing in the garage. They'd created their own little world where adults couldn't hurt them, where everything was safe and simple and good. One night, 6 months after it all started, Jake found Evelyn in the garage. She was looking at the books, the ledgers, the business that had barely survived. "I have an idea," she said. "Yeah. The court finally gave me access to my accounts, to my inheritance. All $43 billion. She turned to look at him. "I still want to give most of it away. Environmental causes, education, all the things Montgomery would have hated. But I want to keep some, enough to start something new." "Like what?" "Morrison and Hamilton Community Garage, a repair shop that also trains people, teaches them skills, gives them second chances. Like you gave me and Sam a second chance." Jake stared at her. "You want to go into business with me?" "I want to build something good with someone good. I want to show Sam that wealth can be used for kindness, that power can be used to help instead of hurt." She stepped closer. "And I want to do it with you, if you'll have me. Evelyn, I love you." The words came out soft. "Sure. I've loved you since that first night when you pulled us out of the rain and gave us hope. Since you stood up to Montgomery even though you were terrified. Since you showed me what courage really looks like." Jake couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. Just looked at this woman who'd stumbled into his life broken and afraid and had somehow fixed all the broken pieces of him too. "I love you too," he finally managed. "You and Sam both. You're family now. Then let's build something, together, something that would make Sarah proud." They opened Morrison and Hamilton Community Garage 3 months later. Big ceremony, ribbon cutting, press coverage. The whole town showed up. Mrs. Chen, Mr. Peterson, Bill Davidson, the sheriff who'd helped enforce Montgomery's orders but had apologized and tried to make amends. Even Tommy, who'd become more family than friend. The garage trained 20 people the first year, gave them jobs, gave them skills, gave them hope. By the second year they'd expanded, opened a second location in Dallas, plans for a third in Houston. Montgomery tried to interfere, tried to stop them, but he was fighting too many battles, too many investigations, too many people who'd finally found the courage to speak up about what Hamilton Oil had done, what he had done. He lost, not all at once, but slowly, piece by piece, his empire crumbling, his legacy destroyed, everything he'd built turning to dust. Sam grew, got older, got happier, started calling Jake Dad sometimes, started calling Emma sister always. The trauma was still there, the nightmares, the fears, but they were fading, being replaced by laughter and safety and love. 1 year to the day after Jake found Evelyn and Sam in the rain, they gathered in the garage. All of them. Jake, Evelyn, Emma, Sam, Tommy, Mrs. Chen, everyone who'd fought, everyone who'd believed, everyone who'd refused to give up. Jake held up the flashlight. Sarah's flashlight. The one Evelyn had fixed when everything seemed broken. "My wife used to say something. She said people are like lights. Sometimes we burn out. Sometimes we break. But that doesn't mean we're done. That doesn't mean we're worthless. It just means we need someone to help us shine again. He clicked the flashlight on. The beam was steady, strong, bright enough to push back the darkness. A year ago, I was broken, living half a life, going through motions. Then Evelyn and Sam showed up. And somehow, in helping them, I helped myself. We all helped each other. Put the broken pieces back together. Learned to shine again. Emma grabbed Sam's hand. He was crying. Happy tears this time. We're not perfect, Jake continued. We've still got scars. Still got bad days. Still got fears. But we're together. We're family. And that's enough. Evelyn stepped forward, took the flashlight from him. My grandfather used to say the Hamilton family built Texas, built an empire. But he was wrong. Empires aren't built with money or oil or power. They're built with love, with kindness, with people who refuse to give up on each other. She looked at Sam, at Emma, at Jake. This, right here. Right. This is an empire, and it's worth more than $43 billion could ever buy. She clicked the flashlight off, then on again, off, on, like a heartbeat, like a pulse, like proof that broken things could be fixed, that darkness could be pushed back, that hope was always possible. Outside, fireflies were starting to appear, dozens of them, hundreds, dancing in the warm Texas twilight. Emma and Sam ran out to chase them, their laughter echoing across the empty lot that would soon be filled with more garages, more training centers, more chances. Jake stood next to Evelyn, watched their kids play, felt her hand slip into his. Sarah would have liked you, he said. I wish I could have met her. You did, in a way. Everything good about me, everything worth saving she put there. She made me the kind of man who stops in the rain, who helps strangers, who believes people are worth fighting for. Then I'm grateful to her, for making you, for loving you, for leaving behind someone Emma could be proud of. They stood there in the doorway, the flashlight between them, still glowing, still pushing back the dark. And for the first time in years, Jake felt something he'd forgotten how to feel. Something he'd thought died with Sarah in that bedroom 3 years ago. Peace. Not happiness. Not yet. But peace. The knowledge that he'd kept his promises, that he'd stayed true to who he was, that he'd helped someone who needed it even when it cost him everything, that he'd been the kind of father Emma deserved, the kind of man Sarah believed he could be, the kind of person who made the world a little bit better just by refusing to look away from someone else's pain. Montgomery tried one last time, filed one last lawsuit, made one last desperate play for Sam, but the judge threw it out, told Montgomery his time was done, told him to leave the boy alone, told him that money didn't equal love and power didn't equal family. Montgomery didn't appear at the courthouse, sent his lawyers instead. But everyone knew. He'd lost. Really lost. Everything that mattered. The Hamilton Empire continued to fall. Investigations revealed decades of corruption, environmental violations, bribes, everything Evelyn had tried to expose. Her grandfather's hard drive might have been stolen, but the truth came out anyway. Truth always did eventually. Some people said Montgomery died a broken man. Others said he just disappeared. Took what money he had left and vanished. Left Texas behind. Left his legacy in ruins. Jake didn't care either way. Montgomery was gone. That's all that mattered. 2 years after that rainy night, Morrison and Hamilton Community Garage had trained over 200 people. Had opened 5 locations across Texas. Was planning to expand nationally. Evelyn's $43 billion wisely invested, carefully distributed was changing lives. Building futures. Creating hope. And every single garage, every single location had the same thing on the front desk. A flashlight. Sometimes old, sometimes new. But always there, always ready. A reminder that even in the darkest moments, even when everything seems broken, there's always light, always hope, always a chance to shine again. Emma was 12 now. Sam was 8. They still chased fireflies on summer nights. Still told stories. Still believed in happy endings because they were living one. Jake's leg had healed well enough. He'd always limp a little. Always feel it when storms were coming. But he could walk. Could work. Could be there for his family. That was enough. And Evelyn. Beautiful, strong, fierce Evelyn, who'd shown up broken and had somehow fixed everyone around her in the process of healing herself. She stood next to Jake every day, building, creating, loving. They never did get married, didn't need paper to make it real, didn't need a ceremony to prove what they already knew. They were family, by choice, by love, by every hard-won battle they'd fought together. On the anniversary 3 years after the rain, they gathered again. Garage full of people whose lives had changed, whose futures were brighter, whose hope had been restored. Jake held the flashlight up one more time. This time he handed it to Sam. "Your turn, buddy. Your turn to carry the light." Sam took it carefully, reverently, like he understood what it meant, what it represented. He clicked it on. The beam was steady, strong, unbroken. "No one's too broken to shine again," Sam said quietly. It was something Jake had told him once. Something the boy had remembered, had taken to heart. Emma put her hand on her brother's shoulder. Because that's what they were now, brother and sister. Not by blood, but by something stronger. By love, by choice, by the family they'd built from broken pieces. "No one's too broken," Emma agreed. "And no one fights alone." The flashlight blazed in the darkness, small but powerful. Proof that light always wins in the end. That love always matters. That kindness is never wasted. That sometimes the best families are the ones you find in the rain on your darkest night. The ones you build from nothing. The ones you fight for with everything you have. And that's enough. More than enough. That's everything.